Hey AllyCats, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome to AllyCat Beauty. I hope you guys are all staying safe out there in quarantine. I know it's been a really long time that we've been stuck inside, but we will get through it together. So like I said in my first video, we are going to be figuring out this whole beauty game together. So today is going to be the first episode in a series that I like to call Makeup 101. In this series, we're going to be going over the different components of makeup. So we're essentially building our knowledge of makeup in the same order that we would be applying our makeup. Alrighty, let's get started, AllyCats. Alrighty AllyCats, so for today's video, we are going to be going over Foundation 101, the basics. So to start, what is foundation? Well, foundation is the base of your makeup. Just like a house needs a good foundation to be built, your face needs a good foundation to build the rest of your makeup look. Since it is the base of your makeup, it's supposed to create a nice even skin tone, the same color as your skin tone or as close as possible. You don't want a color that's too dark or too light because then it won't look natural. And it's supposed to just even out and smooth out your skin. So if you have any blemishes or any scars or anything that you want to cover up, it's supposed to just cover those up very nicely and give you a nice even finish. So to start, there are a lot of different types of foundation in terms of formula. There are already so many to choose from. For example, we have powder foundation, which can come either pressed or loose. There's mineral powder, there's stick foundation, cream foundation, liquid foundation, there's whipped, tinted moisturizer, BB creams, and CC creams. So there's a lot to choose from, but how do you know which one is the best for you? There are a few things that you need to determine before you go into choosing the type of foundation. First, you need to determine what your skin type is. So are you oily? Do you have dry skin, combination skin, sensitive skin, or normal skin? And then you need to figure out what type of coverage you'd like. So do you want sheer coverage, light coverage, medium coverage, or full coverage? Then you have to determine the type of finish you'd like. So do you want a dewy finish? Do you want a natural finish, satin, semi-matte, or matte? And then once you determine all of those factors, you can then choose your shade. So to determine your shade, you need to go into what your skin tone is. So we'll go into all of that a little later, but for now we're gonna focus on the type of product you should use in terms of your skin type. So if you have oily skin, you should be avoiding any products that are oil-based, and you should be looking for something that says oil-free or mattifying. For dry skin, you want to look for something that's hydrating and moisturizing. For combination skin, you can kind of choose which product you want to use, but if you lean more towards dry skin or more towards oily skin, then you should look for a product that is more specific to one of those. And then if you have sensitive skin, you should mainly be looking for mineral powders because it is a more organic and natural product, so it's not going to affect your skin as badly as some other products are. But if your skin's not overly sensitive, then you can look for products that are vegan or don't have parabens or don't have silicone in them, so that you can kind of avoid the things that your skin is reactive to. Now, in terms of which types of foundation you should use, for oily skin, since you're avoiding anything that is too liquidy or bringing out oils in your skin, you should lean more towards pressed powders or loose powders or mineral powders. You can also use the foundation stick. That's a little thicker of a formula, but it does work. And then for dry skin, you should be leaning more towards liquid foundation, cream, or the stick. But since the stick is a thicker formula, you need to make sure that your skin is moisturized before you put it on. If you have combination skin, like I said, you can kind of choose between the different types of products, but you should also be looking for something that is balancing for your skin so that you do have that nice and even finish. And then, like I said, sensitive skin, you want to lean towards mineral powder, and some of the types of foundations that anyone can use are whipped because it has air whipped into it, so it is going to be a lighter feel. And then BB and CC creams and tinted moisturizers can also be used by anyone because they're more for skincare and just kind of a more sheer and natural look rather than putting a lot of product on like a full coverage foundation would be. So now that we went over skin type, we are going to go over coverage. So there are 4 types of coverage. There's sheer coverage, which is basically translucent. There's light coverage, which is light. You get a little more coverage than the sheer coverage, and it's more of for a natural look. And then you get medium coverage, so if you want to cover a few blemishes here and there are some patches that you need to cover up, that will work for you. And then if you have like really bad acne or skin discoloration and there's a lot of stuff that you want to cover up, then full coverage foundation is going to be better for you. So now we're going to move on to the different types of finishes. So there are 5 main types of finishes. There's matte, semi-matte, satin, natural, and dewy. And that's kind of the order that I would put them in. So matte is going to be your very flat, very skin looking finish. And then there is semi-matte, which is in between matte and dewy. So it does give you a little more glow than a matte would, but it's not going to be too glowy, because then you have satin, which is going to give you more of that glow. It's also between dewy and matte, but it's going to be more on the glowy side. And then you have natural, which is just a very natural look, more going to be with those sheer coverage or light coverage foundations. And then you have your dewy finish, or your glowing or radiant finish, which gives you a more shiny finish, and it tends to be more hydrating and makes you look a little more youthful. That's it for determining what type of formula you're gonna use. So it really all depends on mainly your skin type, because that's gonna determine which formula you use, and then it's up to preference for what type of coverage and what type of finish you guys are looking for. So now that you've chosen what type of formula and what type of product you are going to be using for your foundation, you need to choose what shade. And this can be so difficult, going into the store or looking online and seeing 5 to 10 different shades that could possibly be your skin tone and match your skin tone, but you don't know which one to choose. So the best thing to do is always to try the foundation shades. And you don't want to try it on your arm, you don't want to try it on your neck, you want to try it on your face. So there are a few different types of skin tones. There's fair, light, medium, tan, and dark. And what makes this even more complicated is you can be in between 2 of them. So for me, I'm light to medium. So there is a spectrum, but those are the general categories of skin tone. And then once you determine your skin tone, you have to determine what your undertone is. So your undertone can either be cool or neutral or warm. So for cool tones, you're gonna be someone who has more of a pink or rosy red undertone or hue to your skin. And if you look at it in silver jewelry, then you are cool toned. And then on the opposite side of the spectrum, if you are warm toned, you would look good in gold jewelry. You have more of a yellow, gold, peachy tone or hue to your skin or your complexion. Another way to determine what your undertone is if you burn really easily out in the sun, then you're probably more cool toned. And if you tan really easily, then you're gonna be more warm toned. And then a neutral tone is kind of, you look good in both. Your skin is in between pink and rosy and gold and yellowy. So like I said, it's a spectrum, not only for your tone, but your undertone as well. So what if you still can't figure out what shade you should pick? Well, if you already have a foundation that you like and you want to try a new foundation, there's this really cool website called foundation.com. I'll link it down below. And you can put in the foundation that you use or foundations that you've used before and in what shade. And then it'll match you to other brands. and other products and the shade that you should be in that product. So I thought that was really cool. And then there are also different quizzes too. I use Il Maquillage, and I told you in my last video, like, they matched me perfectly, like so perfect. The color is great for my skin, and it's basically this really comprehensive quiz, so it was a really good way to determine which shade I should be matched with. But there are also different ways to determine. So on Sephora, if you're looking at different foundations and you look at the shades, a lot of times it'll say the shade name and then it'll say for light to medium skin with pink undertones, or for dark skin with cool undertones or warm undertones. So there are different ways to choose, and like I said before, you really just need to test out different foundations to make sure it's the right shade for your skin, because you're not gonna know for sure until you put it on and you wear it for a whole day and you test it out for a few days. Alrighty, so now that we know what type of foundation we should be choosing and what shade we should be choosing, how do you even apply foundation? How do you put it on? So there's not one single way to put on foundation, and since there are so many different formulas, you do have to apply them in different ways. So for liquid foundations or cream foundations or stick foundations, you need to use a beauty sponge. For liquid and cream foundations, the sponge does a really good job of spreading that product around and really blending it in. And then for the stick, since it is gliding on, you do need something to blend that out, and the sponge tends to be a better option for that. And then you can also use your fingers just for like water-based foundations or for more sheer lighter coverage foundations. And then for mineral or loose powders or even pressed powders, you should be using a fluffy brush. And then if you want, you can also use a flat brush or a more dense, like bigger brush to apply cream or liquid foundation. I haven't tried that out yet, mainly because I don't have that type of brush, but I do see a lot of beauty influencers using brushes instead of a sponge too. So it's really up to you. It's up to what you are more comfortable with. Alrighty, AllyCats, so I hope you enjoyed this video. That's all the information I found on foundation. I will be linking the most helpful links that I used to find this information today down in the description, and I'll also be linking those quizzes that I told you about. Let me know if you guys thought this was helpful, and if there's any questions you guys have about foundation, you can go ahead and ask those down in the comments. Make sure you look out for my next video in this series. We're going to be going over concealer. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you want to be notified every time I upload a new video, go ahead and ring that bell as well. And don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at AllyCat Beauty. Stay tuned for my next video. I'm going to be teaching you guys and showing you guys how to apply the foundation, and I will be recreating this look as well. And remember, beauty radiates from within, so don't forget to be confident and be you. See you later, AllyCats!